Welcome to another Fantasy Goodfellows video where we talk about the top 15 tight end rankings for week 9. Richard, you ready?
Week 9, let's go.
The Fantasy Goodfellows.
Boom, boom, boom.
Rolling on the field.
The Fantasy Goodfellows. All right, before we get started on this week's rankings, Richard, tell me how you did last week.
Okay, if we take out Darren Waller, again, we do these rankings early. If we take out Darren Waller, who did not play, we hit an 11 of 14 tight ends. So, boom, boom, boom. We just missed on Mark Andrews, Tyler Higbee, and Hayden Hurst. We're right about everything else. We're on fire.
All right, let's see if we can keep it rolling. All right, before we get started, let me just explain what you should expect in our video. Richard's going to give his rankings, and we're going to use the stat machine to see if you agree or disagree with each of his rankings. And hopefully these videos will help you with your own lineups. All right, Richard, line them up.
Oh, first, I'd like to remind everybody that Cleveland, Dallas, Denver, the Giants, Pittsburgh, and San Francisco are on buys. So with that said, number 1 is Travis Kelce, who will be home against Tennessee. Mark Andrews just had a bad game. We're worried about him. I don't know if he's 100% healthy. So Kelce's an easy pick here at number 1. At number 2, Mark Andrews at New Orleans. We hope he's going to rebound. He's had a couple of bad weeks in a row. And number 3, the guy I love, Taysom Hill, home against Baltimore. I like the fact that he has a decent floor. This week he had like 6 carries. So you know he's going to get touches, and he can always break out and have a huge game. So I like him better than most other tight ends. And number 4, Zach Ertz, home against Seattle. It's a great matchup. Ertz is coming off a good week 8. Kyler Murray likes to throw it his way. And number 5, Dallas Goedert at Houston. Great matchup. Goddard had a decent week 8, not a great week 8, but Philadelphia is rolling, and it's a great matchup. And number 6, Kyle Pitts, home against the LA Chargers. Hopefully Mariota passes it a little more to Pitts. And number 7, TJ Hawkinson, home against Green Bay. This could be a shootout, Green Bay, Detroit. Hawkinson got a long pass against the Dolphins, kind of salvaged his week. We hope he can score against the Packers. And number 8, Gerald Everett at Atlanta. It's a good matchup. Justin Herbert is back. Hopefully he's 100%, close to it. I think Everett will be fine. And number 9, Mike Gesicki at Chicago. All Gesicki did was catch another touchdown pass. There are trade rumors, but if he doesn't leave, he's in a good situation. That Miami Dolphin offense is explosive. And number 10, Tyler Higbee at Tampa Bay. Higbee, I think, is a little overrated. He had a few big games early on. Everybody's like, oh, no, we got to ride Higbee. Just look at his numbers from last year and the year before. Nothing special. And Stafford is trending lower, but he's number 10. Number 11, Dawson Knox at the New York Jets. Dawson Knox doesn't get many targets, but when he does, he scores touchdowns. And number 12, Evan Engram, home against Las Vegas. It's a great matchup. Trevor Lawrence has looked terrible, but this is a good matchup. And Evan Engram is catching a lot of passes. Again, when a quarterback is uncomfortable, quarterback is confused, they go to their safety blanket, the tight. And number 13, Robert Tonyan at Detroit. This is a fantastic matchup. I expect Green Bay to score a lot of points, and Robert Tonyan, who is touchdown dependent, has a very good chance of catching. And number 14, Hayden Hurst, home against Carolina. Big Red didn't do so well in week 8. We expect a rebound, especially with Jamar Chase not being around. It kind of makes Hurst number 3, the number 3 receiver, or 4 if you count Joe Mixon. We'll see. And number 15, Isaiah Likely at New Orleans. We're seeing Isaiah Likely be more involved in the offense, especially since Mark Andrews doesn't appear to be 100%. And Likely had a monster preseason, had a decent week 8. So why not? We got him at 15.
All right, let's just take a look at some other rankings. Hayden Hurst, some people have him 6. You have him at 14.
Yeah. No, I mean, last week he wasn't in the top 15. So, I'm not loving Hayden Hurst. I think he's good enough to be in the top 15, but not in the top 10.
Okay. Some people have Gesicki ranked 15. You have him ranked 9th.
Well, yeah, all Gesicki did is catch another touchdown pass. And we know he's a dynamic receiver. He basically is a receiver. Not much of a blocker, and that's his issue. That's Mike McDaniel, his issue with Gesicki, and that's why he might get traded. He's not a blocker, but we know he's a great receiver. So for fantasy purposes,
all right. And I just want to point out, you have 2 tight ends from Baltimore. You got Andrews and Likely.
Yeah. Yeah, just because Likely put up, well, we know that Lamar Jackson likes to throw to his tight ends. And Isaiah Likely just had a good week 8, whereas Mark Andrews didn't. So I'm hedging a little here.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on here and sharing your top 15 tight end rankings for week 9. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And you can always put in the comments some questions that you may have, and I'm sure Richard would be happy to answer them. Richard, any parting words?
Yeah, pay attention to your teams, because these are the tough weeks when there's a lot of buys. Make sure you can get the best team possible on the field, and these are the type of weeks that win it for you, or that help you get into the playoffs. So.
Those fantasy good fellas.
Rolling on the field.
Those fantasy good fellas.